Hello and welcome to the All About You show with OMG and friends, where we talk about the things that you think about and some things you don't. I am your host, OMG, along with my co-host,
Silky Smooth,
Daydream,
and a studio guest.
All right, my name is Rosie Kenobi.
We have a man in here among all this estrogen.
Yay! Deep sexy voice. Roby
Kenobi,
how you doing?
As always, family, we'd like to thank you for joining us, and we ask that you please join in on the conversation, where your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions help drive the conversation. Our number here at the studio, should you decide to call in, is 713-789-0096. Today our topic is your place or mine. Now, debauchery may not be a term used very often today, yet it provides the perfect description of what is being seen today in our society. A simple definition of debauchery is excessive indulgence in the appetites, indulgences of lust, of intemperance, of sensuality. Biblically, the concept of debauchery describes practices that people's group engaged in that revolved around sexuality. Now, many of us see and already view the world as hypersexualized since the 1960s, but debauchery goes much further than the racy, half-dressed models or premarital relations associated with a sexual culture. It's a corporate expression and an open-faced embracing of sexual practices. Debauchery is more than sexual sin, more than public indecency. It is a phenomenon, one that occurs in a people's group when the rot of spiritual decay under the surface of familiar and cultural institutions bleed out into the public sphere. Our society has extreme promiscuity, and it's the practice of having sex frequently with different partners, of being indiscriminate in the choice of sexual partners. The term carries a moral judgment if the social idea for sexual activity is monogamous relationships, which is virtually not practiced in today's polyamorous society as we know it. The question used to be, after just meeting someone, was, can we get to know each other? Now the question is, your place or mine? Let's talk about the preoccupation of sexual activities and promiscuity in today's ever-changing world, and we will start a conversation off with, is sex sexier without love?
I'm meeting people that think that. I'm getting that hi, nice to meet you when you're going to invite me over.
Really?
Just recently, it keeps happening. And then, can I borrow some money?
Yeah,
can I borrow some money? Can you?
Boo.
Yeah,
That's
seriously.
a downer. You know, but you think that, like I said, years ago it'd be, can we get to know each other? Maybe we should go out.
Absolutely.
You recognize whose family is what and the whole thing. Now there's no connectedness. It's like, hook up, I'll see you.
it is the hookup culture.
Yeah,
That's
it-
exactly-
yeah,
I need a
that's-
place. How about I need a place to stay? Is that involved in that too?
All of that.
Yeah.
That's a business arrangement.
Yeah.
They don't want a business arrangement. They offered to sex me up, and that was it. I'm like, oh, and that's it. That's all you got. That's all you got.
Okay.
That's what their payment was.
That's their
to you.
payment.
It's a business
That is-
arrangement.
right. That is the currency at the time.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's about. But I think
That's his
I don't
currency.
think, in my mind, I don't think sex is sexier without love. I guess because I don't know that I've ever really had sex without love.
You always have
Think
I've
emotional
always
connection.
no. I know me. I mean, I know how I am, and I have no reason to sit here and lie to people who know me and some that don't. But I'm one of those people that grew up at a time when you didn't do certain things, and you had to be married in order to really have sex, which is what I did at 18 because my family didn't allow it.
Right.
So, and women, and I know I'm a highly emotional person. I talk with my hands. I got all this going on. But the main thing is, most women are emotional. So if I'm not tied some way to a man, then I can't just hook up because the walk of shame would just pop in my head, and I don't do that. I just don't do that.
And there's an absence of that as well these days. There is no walk of shame because, they don't want, they're going to own themselves. They're going to own themselves in their sexuality, whether it's the man or the woman.
And
or
they're loving it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, we only got this one life to live, so they just, do whatever they please, and hopefully they do it responsibly. But I think technology is the culprit, as to why sexuality the way that it is now is like I wouldn't say over abused, but just oversaturated.
Hypersexualized.
Yeah, hypersexuality. Yeah, that's the best. Yeah, that was definitely the word for that. I think social media does it, and it's too accessible. You can go on your app.
Immediate gratification. You have to get whatever
Yeah,
you want
exactly,
now.
exactly. So therefore, when you go into your app store and whatnot, or your Google Play Store and whatnot, you go to the dating apps and whatnot. So the whole format of that app, you swipe left, swipe right. That means I want you or I don't. You know, it's like you know,
It's
like
like
a
a meat
conveyor belt
market.
for
You
food.
go to a
If
meat
see
market and you
piece
just-
you see
yeah,
a plate
you-
of
piece
food
of
that you
meat,
don't
you-
want, you ain't gonna pick it up.
Very simple.
Or,
See,
or
that's
like there's a sushi restaurant, it
Yeah,
just
exactly.
passes by in front of you. I want it. Let me take this. Let me take
Yeah,
it. No, I'm
exactly.
gonna let that one
And
go.
then,
Right.
then you take on that. You
I
know,
can't
Right.
choose somebody to be in my life like that.
yeah.
Music has taken that on too, because you know,
What? In what
music
respect?
used to be about love and
Yeah.
No,
relationships.
You
You
mean
got Earth, Wind, and
music-
Fire, the Isley
but
Brothers,
it wasn't about
Marvin
love
Gaye.
and relationships. I
Yeah.
feel that was just more. It was more subtle.
It was ballad time.
Like before we got on air, me and Mrs. Jones.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Think
right,
about
but
it.
at least they did it.
We
with
got a
taste.
thing
Me and
going
Mrs.
on.
Jones,
You're
we
thinking,
got a thing going on.
oh,
That's
okay,
right.
yeah, me and
That's
the
why
wife.
the song
blah,
about
blah,
married
blah.
man and a married, they're having it.
At
They're
the time,
something.
it's such a beautiful
Yeah.
song.
Absolutely.
To not really pay attention
And it
to it. It's
actually
like,
has-
oh, that's what this is?
Yeah.
I mean, naturally, I know that, but I'm just saying, when you first heard it, it's like, he's actually singing about an illicit
Right, but
affair.
the high
Right.
school me, like I said, the high
just
school
said-
me,
we knew the
I
words.
thinking it was a cute shirt
We just knew
that
the
said
words.
Mrs.
Now
Jones.
it's- now
And
it's-
not knowing.
Hey,
very-
Mrs.
it's very
Jones.
overt,
She didn't know
you know?
who she was.
Yeah.
though.
It's very overt. You
Yeah,
know,
nothing-
back then it was like
More subtle.
Yeah, it was very subtle. It was very, you know, they have like, you know, those hidden soliloquies of, you know, passion
It was
and whatnot.
subliminal
There was a lot more
seduction.
class.
You were seduced by, subliminal.
Yeah.
You just
Right.
you had to
And-
figure what things were.
And the overall culture of the time of that decade when those songs came out.
Well,
And,
all of this, I still maintain that all of this is by design. I mean, and I think sometimes, I know this may sound crazy about there being alternate realities and stuff like that, which would precipitate, as we did a show a while back on Mandela.
The Mandela effect.
Yeah.
You know, so there's so many things that's going on until I think they've created this debauchery type of society, which is just like Romans in Babylon. It's that whole thing again. It's Sodom and Gomorrah. It's free sex for all. But you guys may not remember this, but when we did a show a couple of years back on the New World Order,
Yeah, I remember
and
that show.
one of the main things that I took away from that show, and I kept reiterating to people, is that part of the New World Order states that at some point in time, orgasms will be obsolete. Y'all remember me telling you that?
Mm.
So that's why they let you
refuse
that's
that.
why they
I
let you get your
refuse to
fill in
get mine.
now.
Yeah.
They said orgasms
sad.
will become obsolete. Now, what that means basically is that when the New World Order kicks in, you're going to have to be to the brotherhood. All that energy that you put into being promiscuous and that
Or
energy-
being you.
yeah, just like
Yeah.
athletes, they can't spend that energy with women before a game. So
Right.
like all that energy, they want you to put it to the New World
To the
Order.
game.
Yeah,
You
so
know
y'all
what?
need to pay attention. But I think we've got to go to break, Silky. Hold on one sec. Oh,
We got 2
minutes. I'm sorry.
I wanted to mention we were talking about music a moment ago, and just Marvin Gaye popped into my head. You know the song "You Sure Love to Ball" and "Come Get to This." So
Marvin was
right,
straight sexy. He was right out of DC.
He was.
yeah.
Sexual
sexual healing.
Uh-huh.
So he really hit it hard, but it was so subtle, you know, and
Well, Marvin
Kinda-
Gaye was
kinda-
less
oh, he
subtle
was just
in comparison,
smooth.
but it
He
was
was
smooth.
smooth.
It was
Smooth.
He's from
classy.
DC. He was smooth, yeah.
There's a difference between trashy and classy,
Absolutely,
and right
yeah.
now, trash
Is
is
what we
what's
have.
is what's
Right,
winning.
because that's how we're living. That's how these young girls are living. You know, they used to be
Young men
years
too.
You
ago.
can you can do your thing and be feeling yourself without having to be trashy.
But I don't think they know.
and
that
nobody
they can.
understands
I
that
don't
anymore.
know
There's
that they can.
they
Little
can't
girls
see.
think they have to show it all, bring it all out, give it to
Mhm.
you on the first go round, and
Yeah, it's love. It's definitely levels to it. It depends on their upbringing. It depends on them finding out who they are as a person, and then of course we all went through that that puberty phase, that the adolescent phase, and trying to figure out what's going on with ourselves and whatnot. Why are we feeling these things? Why are we thinking these things and everything? And then the music, to tap into the music, the music, kind of
perpetuates that,
it perpetuates
that.
it reinforces it. It it entices you and everything, especially if you really like that that song, like let's say Juvenile. You know what I'm saying? Back the thing up and whatnot. So that whole
They
song
take that literally. They
yeah,
take all that literally.
take it very literally, and and that's just like it's like a mating call. Once you hear those violins and
That is a good
It's
way
going-
to put it. I never
Yeah.
thought
I
about
mean,
it that way.
because you know what's
that's-
about to happen is about
Let's get ready to get it
yeah,
in, and
yeah,
things on.
exactly.
But I also think one thing that allows us to have these girls in the situation they're in, and then I'll go to break, is the fact that they've grown up without fathers. I think that plays a role. We'll get to that when we come right back from break.
all right.
Yes, if you bought a whole fresh loop. think you wouldn't have
You
followed.
are listening to The Bridge. Share your opinion by calling 713-789-0009.
That's a good way to put it, mating call.
Think
about it. You're right. It is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It is.
Like,
Listen to The Bridge. Share
I'm a
your
whole there.
opinion by
Oh, that's why it's good. That's funny.
You
No,
know,
but, we haven't had one.
like a certain song comes on, and then that's when everybody knows, like, oh, okay, we about to get our fill on real quick
Yeah.
on the
Say that
dance floor. Like depending on a certain song that
You gotta
everybody
step on
hears
it.
that one.
That song,
Man,
Jay.
Yeah.
nowadays it's like, you gotta make it up. I didn't want to talk with that girl. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that I'm gonna bring that up too. That's unfair. That is unnecessary. That is unnecessary. I get y'all want to have a good time, but man, it's just like,
It's like, hey man, I can have a good time too.
I'm trying to have a good time too. You're not gonna see me with my partners dancing and whatnot. No.
That
I
must be
might be
different
a
from
little.
y'all
I might one
talking about,
time I
'cause
was in
I'm
the
missing the whole
club
thing.
one time and like all the girls was posted up and all the dudes was dancing, partying.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because the girls was posted up. They girls. Yeah, I know our generation. The girls. Our generation,
Pretty
they
shallow.
be chilling, bro.
But they be chilling with
And the
women.
dudes be like,
Yeah.
well, F them, we're gonna turn up ourselves.
Party up in here.
It's
How
like,
sad
you
it used to
know,
be the
it's
other
like
way around for
a
me.
I know,
immovable force
right?
meets an unstoppable object. You know, like
I ain't about to be doing that.
yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Man. I don't know.
Y'all might bring this back up because this conversation is new to me.
Yeah.
Right now. And what is it? How? So you
Well,
remember
well,
it?
really, you know, it's
I really ready to come back.
Okay. Well, okay. I still don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just look. All right. All right. That'll be good. So I'll watch. Okay. All right.
Roby can lead us into that. So you got to finish with yours then.
Yeah, I just want to bring up briefly.
And then he can.
Welcome back. You're listening to the All About You show with OMG and Friends, where we are in the studio. I am your host, OMG, along with my co-host,
Silky Smooth.
Daydream.
and bro, we going to
our studio guest, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes.
Okay.
Our smooth.
Okay. And what I had mentioned earlier, guys, before we went to break, is that a lot of girls, I think, have become so promiscuous, and outside of the music and all of their friends getting it in at 11 and 12 years old, I think the absence of a father plays a part as well in girls just being out there looking for love, don't know how to love because
Definitely a
they've
lot
not
of
had a
daddy
man
issues
love them.
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think?
I say I think it's a little bit of having a good a solid upbringing, knowing who your father is, who your mother is, how you brought up and whatnot, and then if one of the two kind of gets taken out of the situation, that's going to be
A void.
Yeah, it's going to be a void. And even from my experience, I've definitely met women that didn't have their fathers in their life versus the ones that did. And sometimes the one that did have their father in life wasn't as supportive of just getting it in without no attachment and whatnot,
Right.
versus the one that didn't have a father was like, well, I'm with it.
And that's the mentality now.
Or sometimes it just get flip flop where they still have their head on right,
And they
because
still
of the
just
fact
do
that
what
they
they
didn't
want,
have their
yeah.
father in life.
Well,
Or
sometimes
some
you
of
just
them
wanna have
did
fun.
have a father and they will still wild out. So it's just like they're wild. It's a wild card situation,
Right.
You
Wild hair.
So you don't have a man, you don't have a male in your life to show you how a man should treat you, and you're not getting that attention.
Right.
And then you also have a female in your life who's not showing you how you're supposed to be a lady and how
Right.
a woman should act.
Right.
Or
So that's
you should
double
treat her
jeopardy
as well,
there.
too.
That's
Right.
Yeah, in trouble either way.
Mhm.
What do you think about that, Silky?
I concur with the assessment. We were kind of, my folks weren't really strict, but I grew up in a two-parent home, a mom and a dad. And I tended to want to step out of my box, even though they were like knocking me back in. No, this is the way you ought to behave. But I got the training. Now, sometimes I did make the decision because I wanted to have fun, or because maybe I was
See, I just
influenced,
raised fun.
or because I was influenced by outside forces. Other people were doing it, seemed okay with them. Maybe I should try. But I knew, because I had a mom and dad that was there, and I didn't want them to know, because I knew
Right.
that was the thing. I didn't want
So
them
see,
to
you
know.
did things with class.
Yeah, at least I did it with class. I was a little discreet.
You had
I was
enough respect.
secretly listening to Marvin Gaye and
Yeah.
grooving.
But see, I didn't do any of that. I guess I was I
See,
didn't do any of that.
My parents were very strict.
I've never snuck out a
You know-
window. I mean, you know.
Oh,
I've,
yeah,
I've
I
never
did.
done. I'm just saying, I've never
The
done.
running joke in our family is my parents' house was Alcatraz. Oh, there's no way you're getting out
Can't
of
get out.
Alcatraz. It's not happening. You wouldn't even try. It's like, why?
See, that's how I grew up. You know, everybody
yeah,
had
so-
eyes on you all the time.
Absolutely. So
Where, you know,
me going away to college, I was 45 minutes up 45. I was in Huntsville. That's not far, people. It takes you 45 minutes to get anywhere in Houston.
right,
Okay.
yeah,
Right.
So, but that was far enough away for me
just
to be away from home.
independent, right?
But at the same time, it was still close enough for me to remember home is right there. My mom has
Don't
no
get
problem
Too far. Yeah, don't get too far in line.
hitting 45 real quick and
Knocking on your door.
where you at? You said you were at the library. You said you were doing this. You know, things like, yeah. So that kept me in check. But I completely understand.
The threat kept you in check.
Right.
Yeah,
There
see,
was
I had
always that
threat.
looming
See,
threat,
I
but
was-
I didn't know what it was like to go out, do this, do that. So I had to learn that balance. And yeah, you're a dog off the leash.
See, I
You
went
know?
off to college and stayed. Still went to church. I played sorority, did all my little stuff, but without any supervision, I was pretty square. I'm pretty structured. You know what I mean? I don't get too far out of.
No.
I color
But
within
you're-
the
but
lines
that's who
every
you
now
are.
and then. I know, and I hate that. I want to bust out. I guess. You know,
I
just-
did. I got in trouble. I got in
Yeah.
trouble a few times.
I can
did.
imagine.
And you know,
and that
parents-
is having fun. I don't recall having fun as a teenager. When I went off to college, I think I had fun because all of a sudden I had the independence. But then I was discovering who I was becoming.
Right.
You know, I became queen of my class and Miss
Queen of
Freshman
the
in the
class.
dormitory. I mean, I became real popular in college. And then I played sorority and, dated the Omega guy and all that. I mean, I was in the middle of things. And so that was a very important time in my life. But prior to that, I was in this little box, and my aunt, I stayed at a party 5 minutes too long. I would never forget this. I was probably 11 or 12. My aunt came and got me.
Yeah.
11
you know
or
how
12 at a
embarrassing
party.
that is? Yeah, I was in a little neighborhood. Somebody in our neighborhood.
No, I wouldn't know.
Okay, well,
I mean, yeah. I
my
mean,
aunt-
my parents were that kind of shit. I
and they-
wouldn't know.
Yeah, my aunt, it was across the street from where we lived. My aunt came and got me. I was dancing.
Baby, the
She-
street lights came on how long ago?
Yeah, exactly. So it was
Yeah.
that strict, you can't go anywhere, you don't get pregnant outside of marriage. I mean, it was a whole set of
Don't shame the family.
don't shame the family.
Yeah.
It was a lot. See, now these girls don't know any of those rules. They don't really care about that, and they definitely don't live up to them.
Well, like Roby said, there is no shame.
There is
Yeah.
no shame.
There's no
That's
longer a
awful.
walk
You've
of
gotta
shame.
have-
Yeah,
There's
that's
no shame.
sad,
There's no-
know.
And when I say there's no shame, I mean that in the best way possible. When I observe other women and whatnot and how they act and how they how they have fun and the music that they listen to and everything. So when I say they don't have no shame, that means that they're taking ownership of their own
They're slutness, basically.
yeah, they're slutness, their sexuality, their bodies. Everything, given with the correlation of, music over time, so let's say we went from, Earth, Wind & Fire, Marvin Gaye, to freaking, city girls talking about scamming somebody into, doing whatever they want with them,
Mhm.
versus, when hip hop started, of course, the objectifying of women that happened,
All that
20 years ago.
and
Now
it's
it's
still
rolling
here.
around to the women that, now it's saying, okay, cool Cardi B,
Well,
cool,
now we're playing the same game.
cool Nicki Minaj. That means that, they're trying to empower other women that, you can do whatever you want. Can't nobody, shame you for it because, you're your own
So that's
woman,
living
your
with
life,
no
you know?
boundaries.
Yeah, living with no boundaries, being fearless.
And I don't
See,
know,
and
I don't, that
and
may
I-
have sound like a good thing, but go ahead. I don't
Well,
know.
see, and I'm
How I
looking
meant
at
that.
it as, we sat out the
It's a
whole
cultural
time
thing.
and kept getting played. And so now we decided, well, now I want to play this game. I've had
Yeah,
enough
exactly.
of sitting back
And
on the
You're
bench.
tired
I
of
was-
getting played.
Absolutely.
Well,
So
I-
it's about playing the game. What females are doing now is no different than what males have always
But
done.
why do you feel the need to compete with what a male has done? Men can.
Why
be
do I
totally-
need to sit back
I'm
and
just
get
saying.
played when
Well,
I can
then don't
play
get
and
played.
get my accolades
Don't get-
and get the reward and get everything else
See,
that I want?
I
I want to be the star
chance.
player.
There's a
And did
bigger
it.
game than that. You don't have to get played. When you see something's coming down the pike and it's not the way it should be, you just disengage and keep it moving.
But you
to,
take
know,
those rules and you take that strategy with everything else in life.
See,
So if I learned how to play the game when it came to, my physical needs or, not allowing anyone into my emotional circle.
Mm-hmm.
If that's how I learned how to play the game, oh well. But I learned how to play the game, and so now I'm going to take all those strategies to everything else in life.
Yeah.
So again, we stopped being played, and we started learning how to play that game.
Well, see, again, I kind of beg to differ slightly because I don't want to play the game that men play. I guess because I've had girlfriends sit up and tell me that they have sex like a man. This was 15 years ago. It's one of my good friends. She told me, OMG, I have sex like a man. I will have sex with a man and not know his name.
Yeah.
And so to me, while she was impressed and feeling, me Tarzan, you Jane type stuff, I'm looking at her with jaundiced eye like, what?
Are you serious?
Yeah, I've never had a one night stand in my life. I think y'all have heard me say this before.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There is something wrong with that. I need to catch up.
All right, so OMG, look
So
at
see,
Well,
she's sitting on the
wait,
bench,
wait,
and
wait.
she's mad because I'm out here pitching my best game of my life.
I was
Well,
not.
check
I
this
missed
out,
the
check
entire
this out.
sexual revolution. I missed it.
Well,
So-
OMG, you got to get that one.
Well, you still got ample opportunity to do that, and then it's really the ball is in your court. If that's just what that's what you're passionate about doing, then the ball is in your court.
We gotta,
You know what I'm saying? So you go
how do you
ahead.
go to meet a one night stand? Where do you go?
I mean, you find
Oh,
somebody.
y'all on the other end.
You find somebody you like. You know what I'm saying? You see that they like you. That you see that
Yeah.
That's that
Eyes
hookup.
locked.
But see, that's that hookup.
and then just make it happen. Like, hey, you want to get out of here? We
Yeah,
had
we
like
can
3
go ahead.
martinis already. Cool. Let's hit this motel.
See,
And
how
you
do
go
you
about
do-
your
how
business.
do
Your
you
place
do-
or mine? What do we gotta do?
Okay, how do you
It's like you said, your place or mine,
That's
or
like-
somebody else's.
Well, maybe we should ask some of the listeners.
Yeah,
We have everyone. I want
do
to
that.
shout out really quickly to everyone who has checked in. Thank you so much for watching. Give us a call here at the studio, 713-789-0096. You can also text us. I'm sorry. You can also text us at 833-OMG&U. That's 833-664-2638. Thank you so much for tuning in. Kelly, Jenny, Katrina, Luis, John, Melanie. Melanie Clark checking in. We have Irma Armando, one of our state reps. So
Oh,
we
wow,
got a
okay.
friend of the show there.
Okay.
And we also have Melanie Clark, who says, back in the day, two-parent households were a no-nonsense dad and a mother who thought you have to be a lady, and a father who showed my brother to be a man.
Absolutely.
But we still have outside peer influences. Absolutely. Richard, Renee, friend of the show, Renee.
Hey,
Renee,
Renee.
where are you at? We're looking for you to
What's
come
up,
back
Renee?
also.
Right, absolutely.
And
My friend is checking in. RD, hello, baby. Thank you for checking in. He says
Hey,
sex
hey.
has nothing to do with love. He's the champion for love.
right.
He holds the torch for
Well,
love.
isn't this
Okay.
song that 50 Cent
Absolutely.
has? I'm not looking for love. What is it? The song he's got, I ain't looking for no love. I'm just looking for the song by 50 Cent. Yep.
Right. I know. He's advocating for the
he had
one
a whole
night
bunch of them, but I
stand.
can't put my
Yeah,
finger
this is
on
the
it.
one that he's saying he's
Oh,
not
the
looking for
hookup.
love. He's just out to have fun and have sex.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, and you
Well, I
know,
mean,
of
he's
course,
letting you know what it is. So.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I
And
guess-
I've gotten plenty of honesty tips from other women, like just open conversations, because quick plug in. I produce a podcast and whatnot, but I can't necessarily say it.
Yeah, right, you can't.
but we definitely speak on this type of topic as well too, and it's very strongly. But just like 50 say, he's like, hey, look, I want this, I don't want that.
You're right.
Some
I'm looking
women,
for no love. I'm just
some
looking
women
for
is
this.
gonna say that as well too. I want this, not that, and
No family, no
yeah.
babies, so you need to be on birth control.
Yeah, exactly. We're some
I guess I
friends all
can't
the time.
believe we're
Please wear
there.
condoms.
Okay, now that we're here, we're extreme. We've gone from all the way right to all the way left. So what are we doing now? Where can we go from here? Is this it? So is this endless sex with polyamorous affairs and polygamy and
Yeah, it's see.
transgender sex and LGBTQ, all of this? I mean,
No,
What do
the
we do
history
now?
repeats itself.
well, this is
So
this
I
is
feel
true.
like we should take all of our knowledge and what we've learned, females, okay, and men too, because now males can see, women aren't, they're easy to take advantage of, they're sitting back there and they're just letting it happen. No, when we play just as well, if not even better than what men can.
usually better.
Yeah.
We do it with a lot more finesse.
Yes.
I feel like.
I mean,
So now we have to take it back full circle. Now we've learned what we've learned, and let's take it back to the basics so that way we can just keep that in mind.
But I do
you know?
I meet men like Rod that prefer love. They want love. They
Well,
feel
that's
like
what
love
I
is
said.
sexier.
Love is
I
sex-
still meet men
I
like
would,
that.
I would think that it is. Again, I don't know understand how you have sex without love. I would imagine.
It's called lust.
Yeah, that is it. That is it. Damn, I want to do that.
It's lust, and and like I said, it's fun.
Release.
There's just some moment we all have needs. We all have
that
physical
moment.
needs.
After that
Allow
moment,
the
then
lust
what?
in you to emerge.
Okay. So
Then what? It is what you want it to be, or what you agree upon. Either you had this conversation before, or you did what you do your little thing.
Yeah.
see, I guess
Hey, cool, bye, or we're gonna hook up later. Let's do this again some other time. I mean, how do you want?
yeah,
No,
we'll
it's
talk
just this
about
one
it.
time.
Yeah.
I'm
Also,
good.
you have
Oh,
big
okay,
discussion
cool.
about
We
this.
have big discussions about it. It's really interesting. They'll say, well, how would you like it to go? The man will say that. He said, well, no.
Especially if it was
So
good the
that's
first
the-
time.
so
I mean, it
this-
just
yeah, that's
depends.
the
It
case.
just really depends
So
on
really,
Why
it
was
does
it so
kinda-
important to have the first time? Why wasn't the first time about intellectual?
Because that's not what you needed at the time.
Okay.
No.
See, I'm always.
You know,
about
I
that.
didn't need to
When
be
a woman
committed.
I know.
I don't need to
It's intellectual.
I don't need to put my
What's the-
energy
I can't
into
have a
something that I know I don't have
I can't
time
have a
for.
What's the
man.
number one thing that's happening before a one night stand?
I don't know. I tell you, I was.
We
on
What are you
drink.
getting your drink on?
You be tripping.
You out.
That was $1 million question right there. So
I was smoking a blunt.
yeah,
It
that's true.
makes.
We're
Drinking
under
was
the
smoking a
influence.
blunt.
We're under the influence. So once we're under the influence, our inhibitions are amplified.
Okay, yeah.
Times 10. A drunk man don't tell no tale.
And
So
we
you're
had
gonna
zero F's
you're
given
gonna
at
do
the time.
what you really feeling. You're gonna
Alcohol
say
is
what you're
zero.
really thinking. So when you're under the influence, you're just gonna act on
That's
that.
just an excuse. You don't think that's just an excuse?
Not
It
necessarily.
can be. Oh, absolutely.
I'm
I know
just saying.
females, so that's an
No, I'm
excuse.
just saying that's an excuse, right?
It's
If
an
you
excuse
wanna-
to get outside themselves.
Yes.
An excuse to get outside themselves
Right.
and really
However-
do what they really want to do
Because
without,
if you're really
without
right,
To keep
you're
shame.
people from
Slut.
judging.
It's-
Exactly.
it's-
You don't want
it's
people
in
to judge you.
It is
Right.
an
Yeah.
excuse,
And
but
then for the fact
yeah.
that y'all don't know each other, there isn't no judging going on because y'all don't know each other.
See?
Well, see, that frightens me to be in a room naked with somebody I don't know.
But some people,
Yes and
some
no,
people
some-
get a
I'm
rush
just
out
saying.
of that.
Okay,
Some
Because
people
things-
get
because
a
scary.
rush.
That could be scary. That would be scary to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean-
That's fine.
I mean, for me,
I've had
right.
a couple one night stands where I might be scared. Even
Have
though
you
I'm,
ever felt scared when you
yeah,
had one
of
night
course,
stand?
because I don't know who that person
That's
is.
my point.
But nothing happened. My only fear is you're like, okay, this person might just had me ready to get set up by.
She could have
you
given
Right.
you a roofing.
Yeah,
She could have had you set up some friends around.
Some-
the corner.
somebody could have-
That's what I'm saying. But why
Exactly.
take? See, I can't do that.
Exactly.
I have
But people
to
get
process
people
too
get a
much.
rush. People get a rush out of
That's
it.
like getting an Uber.
and
It's
some-
like that's
That
like
thing that we
it's the
did,
thrill of it.
Stranger
It's really,
Danger.
it's really the thrill of it.
That's
you know?
crazy.
It's
'Cause
really
a lot of
the thrill
girls,
of
a lot
it.
of girls are missing as a result of that.
a lot of
thrill.
men come up missing too.
Yeah,
It works both ways.
Really?
But there, I mean, there's just sometimes it's
Women can play that
I'm
game,
never
just
gonna
like you
see
said,
these
she
people
can play that
again.
game.
Like when you're on vacation, think about how free and wild you are when you're on vacation. Oh man, I'm not at home. I'm relaxing. I can just do whatever. Nobody knows me. I can dress how I want. I can say what I want because I'm never gonna
I'm
see
not-
these people again.
And that is the impetus right there.
It can be. Very well so. I'm never gonna see these people again. So I can get as
I can clown.
freaky as I want to be, or I can be as what's the word I'm looking for?
Some
Who-
people
whoever
say,
you
no,
are,
I've heard
whoever you
people
are.
say, listen, I'm going on vacation. I'm going to get my hoe on. That's
Yeah.
what I'm going to do.
See, I've never,
That's what
And there's
I've
been
had
plenty of
friends tell me that
females
I
who've
am
gone through
going
that
to get
phase.
my hoe on.
you don't have to
Yeah.
leave town for that.
No, they were
No.
on vacation. They were free, like you
But
said.
So you don't know
that's
anybody
it's
else.
another,
Okay,
it's
it's
another
another
atmosphere.
avenue.
It doesn't
Yeah,
count
it's
when it's in a
another
zip- different zip
atmosphere.
code.
Like,
Oh, yeah, another
yeah,
country.
especially-
Or a different country.
If you in
Even
Jamaica,
that.
you in Hawaii, or you in
Right.
freaking wherever that you're not, where you
What's
regularly are.
happening? You know, they have this thing now with DR. What's happening in DR real quick?
Dominican
And the-
yeah, with these people.
One resort, 3 people died.
Yeah, but-
Two of those people, they were a couple. I didn't get to hear exactly what it
Oh,
is,
yeah,
but
I did hear about that.
those 3 happened to
At the same
die from
hotel, right?
something at the same resort.
See, there's something to that. And
Yeah, but I mean, but that's anywhere. That you can go down the block from
oh,
here in the
anywhere,
studio,
anywhere.
and
Something.
something's gonna happen to you. It
That's
happens
true.
all the time
That's
on a nightly basis, So it doesn't matter if you're on vacation. Oh, well, we're in a third world country, this and that. We've got
No.
some third world neighborhoods around
right here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let me ask
So,
you guys a question.
Really quickly, yes, Melanie Clark. She says, shout out to my brothers who told the games that men play. Absolutely, thank you to the brothers and the cousins and the play brothers and the play
That teach
cousins
you how to play the
who
game?
taught us
Yeah,
females
yeah,
what the
yeah.
game
Yes.
was. Absolutely. Luis says it's all about what makes you happy. Absolutely. Greg Brown. Yes, women are the sneakiest. And sometimes it's just physical. And
not gonna happen.
I don't. I'm assuming he was talking to you, OMG,
That's
but
why
he
it
said
hurts
she's
more
old
when a
school.
woman cheats. That's why,
Absolutely.
that's
That's
why
the
it hurts.
problem, right?
It hurts more
There's
when a
nothing
woman
wrong with that.
cheats. So
Yeah,
it
right.
definitely hurts more.
It does.
It's
I don't know
very
why
y'all
men
are
I would never
calculated.
reveal anything. I would just
Y'all
let
are
you know
very,
what
very,
I think it's
very
okay.
calculated. Y'all make
on
a
that one.
decision. Y'all make that decision
Oh,
3-4 months in
And let me
advance.
tell you something else. You will not know.
Mm-hmm.
See, you
Oh, we
men,
made the
see, you
decision when
men
we met
used
you.
to-
We already decided
Yeah,
it.
you know, you
We
guys
sized
do
you
stuff,
up.
but you
Yeah,
guys leave
exactly.
stuff
We
around.
sure did.
You know, you leave this with lipstick on it, something.
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
you
Right.
just
Yeah,
do-
leave
we
underwear.
would never. You know, women's cleaning up and we don't have to deal with that. But let me ask you another question, guys. Okay, is sex sexier with a third person?
You mean like menage a trois?
Ooh, I can't give you that answer. So
I
not
can't
my
give you that
thing.
answer.
I'm a
Okay.
very
I
jealous
wish I could.
and
Oh,
selfish
see, that's
person.
that's how I would be.
Like my friend said,
It's all my stuff. right?
mine.
It
I don't-
becomes a sticky
mm-mm.
situation.
You can't
once,
play with my
once
toys.
again, that's where a one night stand can really be applied, because when you have that type of situation, you don't know each person, so therefore everybody has one goal in mind. It's the climax, you know.
And we know
Yeah.
what that is.
Yeah, it's
Right.
the climax and whatnot.
But
you know.
see, I've seen this, and I've actually witnessed this from a friend of mine. She was a crossing guard at the school that's behind my house, and she and her husband were having some issues, and so she decided to bring in one of her girlfriends.
Mhm.
Well, the two women got together. They pushed him out. So now it ends up being the girlfriend and the wife got together and got rid of him altogether.
Well, I've been invited into marriages and relationships. I've been the one that's gotten invited by either the man or
Mhm.
gotten invited by the woman, and it's kind of scary, especially if like I don't have anything invested in you guys. I mean, I still have a relationship.
But a lot of times what people need to understand though is that conversation has already happened between that couple.
Before you get
There's
there.
already an agreement, there's that
Yeah.
respect, there's that communication. Hey, these are the rules.
Yeah, but
Well,
that's
hopefully.
different when
You know,
there's three
those-
naked bodies in the bed. That's a whole nother game.
But
All
if
rules
you're
go out
laying
the
down
window,
rules,
probably.
no,
Okay.
no, not if you respect each other as a couple.
Well, you
Because
know, there's
I
always
know
one.
people who like to play.
Okay.
Okay,
Swing.
they like to play, absolutely.
Mhm.
So and they've said, look, there's a set rules. We've discussed it. We've agreed.
Right.
You know, when we pick someone out, we agree.
Okay.
We're okay. You know, if it's the female approaching, it's because they agreed the female's going to approach. If it's the
Right.
male who's approaching, again, it's an agreement that that's what was going to happen. So there's no surprises.
Right.
And I once dated a guy who had that arrangement in his marriage.
Well, that's that
They had a
polyamorous.
long-term-
I work with someone
That's
like
Right,
that.
they had a
polyamorous
long-term
marriage.
girlfriend. And what ended the marriage, according to
That
him,
reminds me of D. Ray
Okay.
Davis.
right, what ended the
us
marriage,
about that.
according to him, is that he didn't play by the rules one night. He misunderstood, okay,
Whatever.
what the wife said. They were all three there at the house, having a good time. Wifey passes out, and he's like, hey, are you good? You okay? She's like, hey, don't worry about me. Y'all have a good time. Y'all have fun. He took that as a green light.
That's
So
what it
him and
sounded
the
like.
girlfriend, right? And I said it myself. I said, well, I
Sound
could
like-
see why
Right,
if
right.
this is every bit of the story that you're
Right.
telling me. I could see why you would misinterpret that. So them two, the husband and the girlfriend, had fun. Wifey wakes up, sees what happened the next day, and she was like, "We're done. You broke the rules. I've lost trust."
Well, see,
And that was the end of it.
But you quoted her. You
But
said,
she said,
"You're good. Go have fun."
Yeah, y'all have fun.
But she said that under
Have
the
fun with
influence.
what?
That's not their problem. That's hers. She shouldn't. First of all, if that's your situation and you pass, first of all, you control your drinking so that you don't pass out because there is
Oh,
another
come on,
woman.
life.
But
you
there
need-
is another
yeah.
woman there.
We're at
But you need to
home.
say what happens if somebody gets drunk. All right,
No,
I have,
my point is, if you allow yourself to get out of the game that quickly by getting drunk, it's the party goes on with or without you.
right.
So
it
you
does.
can't really get mad
Right.
now that the party's gone on and everybody's happy.
Yes
that you
and no.
knocked out the
That's,
party.
Because he also
that's
started the
Pandora's
story
box
with-
once you open
You
it.
open it. That's
Absolutely,
That's right.
absolutely.
That's exactly
See, he
right.
also started the story with, you know, she had always said, you know, we just, as long as I'm there, we're good. As long as it's three of us, we're never gonna be apart. You can't go have your fun over here, and I can't go have my fun over here.
But do you?
That's how he started the story, and then says this and this is what happened. I said, I get where there was a misunderstanding, But at the same time, if she was that adamant about it from the very beginning, that should have triggered you as the husband. She's drunk. She's passing out. Just this and that. Let me not, and let me ask her in the morning or the next day. Hey, how would you have felt about this?
The cat was calling Phi New Pie, and if Phi New Pie is in the room.
I had a situation like that.
Yes.
But the wife said, "Listen, he wants to be with you sometimes by himself. If you guys get together, I don't,
Oh, see, but that was an agreement. That was an arrangement.
Right, that was an arrangement. They said, no, if you guys want to get together, that's okay.
See, I've had that
you have
offer
to tell
to
me.
me. One of my Jewish girlfriends asked me that.
I get that
And then
a
she
lot.
wanted to watch. She didn't want to be the threesome. She wanted to watch. And
I had a friend.
I was like, oh hell no, because see, I know because the minute that happened, friendship would be over. I mean,
Right.
it'd be,
Really quickly, thank you, Greg. Greg says, no, it's complicated. Been there, done that before. And even with rules, emotions get in the way and
That's
complicate it.
it. That's
Absolutely.
it.
I totally agree with you.
Thank you.
Totally agree with
Exactly
you.
right. Yeah.
Now,
Which brings us back to one night stands. If you don't know everybody in the situation, anything can happen. It can go down. No feelings caught. No
That's
emotions
better.
hurt.
right.
Because no judgment is being passed. Everybody got the same goal in mind.
And you
Right.
don't have a friendship that's breaking up.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I mean, I haven't experienced a twab before, but I mean, that's just what I would have to mentally prepare
Okay, you
myself
say you
for.
have had one before?
No,
or
I
you
haven't.
have not.
I have not. But if I ever do,
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? I'm just kind of
I
cross
see
my
fast
fingers.
there
You know
at
what
the
I'm
end
saying?
of,
But-
at the end of this table.
But
Cross my
food
fingers
food
one
for a
day.
reason.
That's something you don't rush, don't force, or nothing like that. So if it's in the stars for me to go ahead and get down like that, but I'm not,
Yeah.
But
No,
you're
yeah.
right about the emotions. It caused problems, though. I will
said that
never
earlier,
do
because-
that again.
And that's why I don't
it got,
share.
It got horrible.
Women are
It got out of control.
territorial.
I've never
Women are
learned to
territorial.
share my toys.
In this case, it
Mm-mm.
wasn't the woman; it was the man. Lost complete control. Stalked me, threatened me to the point where I had to call my ex and say, "You need to have a
You've
conversation."
had a hell of a lot of experiences.
It really got
Living
crazy. I'm like,
best
first of all,
life.
this was your boneheaded idea in the first place. Your
And now he's
boneheaded
mad.
idea, and now he's mad.
See, that's
Cussing
no,
me
thank
out,
you.
stalking me. The man just went crazy.
Mm.
And I said,
How is that
Must be
pie?
good.
How is that pie that's being shared three ways? How is that equitable? How is that? Is somebody getting slighted in some capacity? Because I'm just curious because I'm the
you know
only
what?
child. I'm the only child. I don't share stuff. That ain't right.
Sometimes
I'm
a
not.
kid.
I'm not an only child, and I
I
still
am.
won't share. So
Yeah,
that-
I take my ball and go home.
that could happen.
Literally.
Sometimes,
Yep.
like, I did notice that, I'm getting a little bit more attention. I'm thinking, if you just want to be with me, then say that. What's name's looking over there, looking all pitiful.
Like what's going on with you?
Yeah.
I'm right here.
Yeah, it can get like
That's what
that.
I'm saying. It's
And I
too
said,
many
But
emotions.
maybe that's what some people like that. Some people will go to swingers clubs because they like to watch.
I have a
Okay, others go because they like to be watched.
Right. It's people
So,
that like to engage in public sex. That's what
Right.
swinging
I
is.
had
Are
a
you
friend
Or
serious?
who
or
his
have sex with their friends. That's
right
what a swinger
his
is.
his thing. I had a friend. His thing was he wanted to watch someone else giving pleasure. You know, it gave him pleasure to see someone else getting pleasure.
I did.
So that was his thing, and he was just like, well, I mean, if I'm okay with it, then what's the big deal? That's you.
yeah.
You're cool with that. That ain't my thing, and I know it's not. And so it wasn't even, well, let's try, let's kind of entertain. No.
What about the dominatrix thing? You know, the whip and the
Ooh,
chains.
fun.
Once again, that podcast that I
Is it once
produced, we
again?
had a whole episode about it.
Well, you know, there's a Netflix. Netflix actually has a show called Bonding,
Okay.
and it was really
Appropriately titled.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
and it's actually really good because it's about two friends, best friends, one male, one female, and basically how things play out
When I first got
with
here,
one's career.
when I first got here, I met a friend that was married to an Asian guy, and they were doing the dominatrix thing, and it just kind of shocked me. You know, I don't know. To me, it's very humiliating to the man when you had all your girls over. You know,
They did it in front of people, or it was just between them?
no. He came and he served us. I mean, he did. You know, he was in his little.
Well, that's what he wanted.
I'm
he
just
was
saying,
okay
and,
with
and
it.
then
The-
she
the
abused him for a
You know,
minute.
it'll cover everything, your face and whatnot.
He's
No,
got
he
his
didn't have
collar.
a leather. He had a collar. He had like a little leather thing, and I had never really seen that.
He
because-
wanted to be submissive.
and-
Yeah. He wanted that.
That
Yeah,
that was his
Especially
thing.
powerful men that that create a lot of dominance in their companies or whatever whatever world that they live in. They have so much power. Nobody's not over them. That's what they desire the most.
And I guess
because finally they don't have to be.
They
don't have control.
Ridiculous stuff.
They can't say no, you're fired. No, you can't do this. You can't do that. But then when you put that suit on and he tells you that safe word, then you're his or he's yours or whatever. You know.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm gonna refer y'all to that episode and whatnot. But
absolutely.
Like everything we're talking about, it was all
yes, we've
unfilteredly.
So we have to have filter. We're on a Christian
Of course,
station.
of course,
clean,
of course,
but still,
of course.
and talk about what's out there. So you
but
just
I definitely reconcile. I definitely reconcile with that. That's something I can refer to.
See, and I think it's real important for us. Oh, I'm sorry. Go. We're gonna go on a quick break. Hold that thought. We'll be right back after this short break.
Remember what you want to come back?
I am.
Yeah.
Because I know how to work.
You're listening to the Rigid Black Radio Network, where conversations lead to real change.
See, no, so
Sam Houston, yeah.
So definitely we have to get Image in.
Yeah.
When we come back.
Yeah, and then I've got to do
Yeah, it's been nice.
Okay, gotta do a quick shout out. Because this is directly for you, Silky.
What did it say? What did it say?
I know this was directly for Silky.
Oh no.
Oh, you put it on him. Thank you, Greg. Evidently she did.
And that dude stalked me, threatened me, took a strike. I mean, he just lost his doggone mind. I'm like, what is the matter? This is your
45
stupid
seconds?
idea. Anyway,
No, thank you.
bonehead.
I am not about that life.
Learned a lesson. Learned a powerful lesson.
Okay, so you're coming back with your point of view. You remember what it was? You remember what your point of
Yes.
view was? Okay.
20 seconds.
Are you coming back with something? Are you okay with anything?
Well,
We'll come back with a live read of this segment.
yeah,
When that?
Yes.
and then later, I guess 5
10
minutes.
seconds?
do the author segment. This portion of today's show is brought to you by Image. I make a great employee, executive, entrepreneur, professional etiquette training seminars where life skills meet social graces. For more information, please check out www.yourbizimage.com. That's www.yourbizimage.com for more information.
Yes, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you everyone who's been following along on our Facebook feed.
We appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely. Shout outs to everyone who's been commenting. Give us a call here at the studio, 713-789-0096. You can also text us at 833-664-2638. Really quickly, Greg, yes, I believe this is for you, Silky.
Oh no.
He says, oh, you put it on him.
Yeah,
I believe
that's
it's in
what I'm
reference to
saying.
the
Like,
stalker
listen,
situation.
That's
Absolutely, Greg.
actually the case.
And Greg, thank you so much. He says, loving the show, need to come on one day. Absolutely.
We would love that.
We would love
Stop
for you.
threatening. Come on.
Rotating chair, you're always welcome. That's anyone who's welcome
You
to the
see how
show.
much we enjoy having a man among us. We had to break
That's
this
right, look
estrogen
at-
up just a tad.
Right, I want to
It's
reach
the
out and want to keep
testosterone
touching
here.
him. He's like, get over
I
it.
know, right? Well, Roby, we are glad you're
Yeah,
here.
absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all for having me here. I'm enjoying myself.
We also have Melanie Clark who says, during sex, you and your partner exchange frequencies. The more you are with this person, the more you observe this energy. I totally agree.
I agree with that as
If
well.
your partner is having a bad day, negative thoughts, positive thoughts, admiration of love, and so forth, there is an energetic transfer taking place. Good, bad, positive, negative, whatever the moods and emotions, whatever the emotions are, you hold a piece of them. Absolutely, I totally agree with you.
Absolutely.
There
I
is
agree as
nothing compares to a spiritual connection.
See, but that's what I think. Okay, then this brings me to the question of having sex and making love. Now, to me, making love gets you that spiritual connection.
It's a deeper
And
bond,
it's a
and it
deeper bond.
lasts.
But see, all of that is gone now. It's almost like,
I don't think it's.
well, to whom is it being?
It's,
For some
It's
people,
not as
it's
common.
it's not as common.
What's
but
my point? It's not as common. One time, well,
it's not as common. It's only as common as high school sweethearts, you know, getting married and having kids, you know, and I only know like 2 people that's, you know, 2 couples that's like that right now. But for the most part, I mean, it just, you know, let's break it down with the age range. So we got, you know, 18 to 25, 25 to 29, 30 to 35. Those age groups, that demographic can definitely play a factor into it as to how they think or what experiences they had to be like, no, I'm not going to get down like that, or I don't care, I'm going to do what I want. I'm single.
See, I think that's the mentality.
It just really depends on who they are and what they want out of life. You know what I'm saying? So if they want just spontaneous action, whether it's you know a sexual activity all the way to adventurous activity, then that's on them.
And see, before we went to break, that's what I was about to get at. Is I really feel it's important that we understand different lifestyles.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, we're over here thinking like, oh my God, you're okay with your wife being with whoever. You're okay with him playing around, open relationship. But there's also a lot of respect in those relationships. Because again, you have set rules. These are discussions that have happened. And a lot of people,
ongoing,
yes, continue ongoing discussions. Hey, I'm okay with this. Or when we were out such and such time, I didn't like this. I know I said I was okay with something, but I changed my mind. You know, once it played out, I wasn't cool with it. So this is not okay anymore. You know, so I have a lot of respect for those couples, whether they're long term or just, you know, hey, we're friends and it's fun and why not? Because you can have that communication, and that's what's missing a lot.
So I said, you have the hookup, but you don't have the connectedness, and that's
well,
what's
you
missing.
do sacrifice something. You do sacrifice something.
It's always going to be on the surface. If you know, like I said, if you at the bar, at the club, at the lounge, and you know you have one too many, and then you know
and somebody takes advantage of that. Let's go.
Yeah. Let's hey, I like how this
or
feeling.
you take advantage of somebody else. It works both ways.
Yeah, it works both ways. It just depends on who's vibing with who, and if that grown woman is secure with herself and you know not scared of nothing,
are you putting it on now?
Skirt.
Okay, I think for me,
I like leaving it up to the woman to make that decision because you know in this climate right now, I mean the woman's on top.
Literally.
If you ask me.
Literally.
That's what I said.
Me.
But I don't think it's so much
right.
of being
They're on top.
Being into a situation where you're fearful. Again, possibly yes, because again, you don't know who's in the room with you. You get butt naked. You don't know what's coming from out of the back.
Or if there's a little
you don't know there's a
going
camera. You don't know
camera.
what's going on. See, I prefer, because I overthink things. That's why, and it really wouldn't be a fear. It's just my overanalyzing and overthinking it to all of the possibilities.
Yeah.
So when people get excited about when Low Jack and all that came out, they were excited that somebody else could unlock their car from afar.
Nope, not cool.
My mind goes to the flip side of that. Well, hell, you can lock me in my car. So see, I don't go the same processes, but it's not so much fear as it is. I like living. You just don't know what you're setting yourself up for.
Right.
Age-wise.
You take a risk. You take a risk, and some people enjoy the risk.
I enjoy taking risks. No guts, no glory.
See,
I get that.
Right.
Some things I'm not willing to play with.
Stalker issues scare me. Okay, because
I
I'm living that.
Unexpected.
Same thing, and it's not because anything crazy happened. It's great, wow, blah blah. No, it's just dude, this was 20 years ago. Leave me alone. Go to your wife and your girlfriend.
Right. Your wife.
Go over there. Leave me alone. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I don't want to have to screen my calls, but that's why I screen my calls. This is why I don't like people pulling up in my driveway and turning around. No, I don't like to live that way, and I have to live that way because you don't know where other people's mentality is at. You know what level they're on. All right. And then the other thing is, females. When you're with someone, do you not stop and think there's a possibility that I'm going to be stuck with this person for the rest of my life? Think about it.
Right.
Because just because that child turns 18 doesn't mean you're done.
You're done.
No. You're stuck. Do you want to be stuck with that person before you do what you do?
Yes.
Really ask yourself, do I want to be stuck with this?
Right. Sometimes you definitely got to sit down and ask yourself and give yourself a disclaimer and be like, okay, is this person worth the 30 to 45 minutes?
Do I want a family with them?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Or or the disclaimers can come right then and before. You're like, okay, especially like I said, in this climate, for me, I'd be like,
giving the preface of this climate, which is very apropos because that's true. But
Yeah.
I just think sometimes is sex
for me-
sexier with the same sex.
Nope.
Nah. I mean,
And how
it's
do
a
you-
double
see,
standard.
how do you look?
It's a
Damn
double.
right.
It's a double
I know.
standard. It's a double standard.
Don't ask that. You
How do
already
you
know.
know?
Ask that
No,
question.
It's a double standard, especially if I have to answer the question. Of course, I'm going to be like, yeah, of course. You know what I'm saying? 2 women at the same time. Yeah, that's
Yeah, for
amazing. I
dudes.
eat popcorn.
Okay, so what if 2 men?
That's great for you.
I'm not
That's
trying
two
to say all
brutes.
that.
Okay, oh, that's
I'm not
that's
trying to say.
Two
okay.
dudes.
That's why. That's why.
Well,
I
you know,
said,
just sometimes if a woman wants to
Hey,
date
we
somebody,
can't
she
judge
want another
anybody's
woman.
You're
level
right,
of
we
freak.
can't
Because-
judge.
Okay,
I
because
had
we
that
cannot judge
conversation.
anyone's
If it were-
level of freak because there's
I had-
always someone judging
That's
ours.
right.
That's
I
right.
had- I
If
had
it
a
were me,
conversation about
or
that.
definitely would be another woman in the room.
Yeah.
It'd
No.
be 2 men
Like I
for
had-
me.
I'm
I don't
the
need a woman. I'm gonna
only
be the queen of the
VI
room.
here.
That's gonna be- and that's how-
I'm the
that's it.
HMIB.
Y'all got that, right?
That's right. I'm right.
Yeah, so I don't.
Well, after my lesson of the stalking and the going craziness and the calling my job and harassing
So
me
you're
and
living your
following
life,
me
yeah.
for stepping out like that,
But you're living your
following
life.
someone years ago, I said, you know what? I'm never doing this crazy stuff again because the people that you think will not lose control, even
Will
they
lose.
think they will not lose control, they do. And you don't know until after the fact, and then somebody's in trouble. And at the
It's like,
time,
hey,
I
you gonna
almost
be
got in
crazy
trouble.
after tonight?
I overthink too many things. See, I
And
go through.
it did
Well,
it did
one night
happen.
stands might not be for you.
I know. That's why I haven't
And
had
there's
one.
nothing wrong with that.
Might-
64
there's
years
nothing wrong
old.
with that.
Own it.
It may not.
I
No,
don't
it still has
I
nothing to
don't
do with
think,
it.
No,
but I
no.
keep feeling like I missed something. I don't know what that
You
is.
did.
See, that's my
You missed
point.
But, like,
Yeah,
that's
but
just
you
not
had
too
one.
late,
Or
though.
maybe you're just a Bentley with low mileage.
What?
Some people
Oh,
appreciate that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Uh-huh.
exactly right.
Bentley with low mileage.
Absolutely.
That's
Gotta
all
be
right.
it. Gotta be
You
it.
know? Think about it.
You know.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yes, Greg, old school modest values, or overridden by
Get
new
Greg in
school open
Get
sexuality.
Greg up in here. I would love to have him join us. But he's right. I am old school. I don't make apologies for that.
Right.
That
You
is who I am, and so either that fits.
No, male or
Right.
female, you shouldn't
Yeah.
apologize for what works for
But I
you
sometimes feel like
and
I've
what
missed
doesn't work
something.
for you.
I just feel like I've
The grass is always greener until when? Till
I'm
you
so-
step
I'm
over and then you realize, hey,
Angel on your shoulder saying, "Yes, you did miss something."
I
Reggie.
know, right?
Go ahead
I
and
really
step
feel like
out
I missed
there,
the sexual
and then we'll
revolution.
have we could talk. You could do it, and then
I
we'll have a show about it. I would love that.
let's
And
just
it's
put
never-
all
it's
our
never
business
too
out
late.
there.
Show
You
about
know,
it.
like you said, you
Do-
know,
so-
it's never too late. So
Okay.
whenever you catch that feeling with, this person and that person, like, hey, look,
I'm gonna have to work on this one. I'm gonna
Oh,
have to
Sylvia,
knock
Sylvia,
it.
look
I'm
at
gonna have
you.
to knock it, okay?
all right, I'm feeling you, you feeling me. This is what's about to happen. You're not about to stalk me. You're not about to do anything. But what's about to happen is what you want to happen.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying?
That
If I
sounds
decide to
like a
call you
real
later,
game
I'll
right
call you
there.
later.
Wow, that's the woman too.
I don't
Right.
even,
I
you
made
don't
several
even have to just bring the topic up. You just look them straight in the eye and let them know. And I find that the biggest turn on ever. If a woman just tells me what to do at that moment, I'm like, all right, cool. You ain't got to tell me twice.
I know that's right.
Nah,
Yeah,
man,
that's
you-
when you men become very
That's
agreeable at that point.
Yeah,
What do you
that's
laughing at?
that's the little bit of submissiveness in me and whatnot. But I'm not putting no suit on,
Just a tad.
put no
Who cares?
put no
It's
leash
about
around
that
my
much.
neck, and I'm like, I ain't down for that. I'm not even gonna lie.
You know.
But
Again, I just
tell me what to do.
do men have any qualms at all about women being promiscuous? The one that you were with, are you not concerned that she may have been with the engineer or may have been with one of the other boys?
he's
No.
smiling a lot.
See, when I grew up, you couldn't do all those
Maybe
things
he was
because
with
you're
the
right.
engineer.
That was
Maybe
the-
he was with
I-
little Sally
and-
Walker
and
down the
that's-
street.
And that's
Maybe-
another thing, you know.
Not
You
really.
know, men are looking for men now, and when you go out, women are looking for women, and they're looking for men and women, and they're looking for transgender, and they're just looking.
Mm-hmm.
Looking for someone.
Okay, and this is what's.
And I think that is so sad.
That's my point. It's sad.
That is so
It's a
sad.
free-
So,
it's
so
a
to
free
answer
fall.
the
It's a
question, for
free
me, is
fall.
sex sexier without love? No,
No,
because you're you're always looking for something. You're searching, and what you're searching for is that true unconditional love.
Yeah.
So
I say it's circumstantial. It's very circumstantial and how whatever mental space that you're in right now. So if it's sexier than love, or if it's not, or you're just trying to get your fix. It's just circumstantial.
Yeah,
I'm kind of with Roby. I prefer the love part.
I do.
I
as
do.
well.
I prefer the love part, but that little pinch of me thinks that
That
the
freak.
circumstantial. You got that itch. You need it scratched. I might be a little bit open
Okay. Let's see.
to open that.
Go ahead.
Yes, we want to talk. We're going to switch gears right now, folks. Then fan off a little bit. The author's attic. A little bit about the manners maven. She talks about netiquette. What is netiquette? It is etiquette on the internet. She has some suggestions. Be respectful. Check spelling, grammar. Proofread your messages. Write concisely. Use professional tone. Double check the address. Messages are permanent. They are indelible.
They're there.
Respond promptly. And be professional always. A caveat, please don't assume that everyone is on Facebook and Instagram, Snapchat. Ask for permission before posting pictures. Great, wonderful advice from the Manners Maven, the author of Image. I Make a Great Employee, Executive, Entrepreneur, Professional Etiquette. Today's show was brought to you by Image. I Make a Great Employee, Executive, Entrepreneur Etiquette Training Seminars. Where life skills meet social graces.
I want to give you a little bit of information before we leave. Next week, we're going to have Dr. Matthew Knowles in here with us.
Yes.
Juneteenth is next week. And
I interned for him back in 2011.
I beg your pardon?
I said I interned for him.
Okay, all right. So yeah, we're gonna have Dr. Matthew Knowles in here with us next week. So be sure to tune in.
Exciting.
All right.
Thank you.
Exciting.
Peace.